I love this story. This is a meme. ABC News says Trump's unprecedented campaign pitch. Trump's unprecedented campaign pitch. Elect me to get revenge on the government.
MAGA, baby!
Yeah, right? I love it because they write this unironically, and libertarians, post-liberals, Trump supporters are screen grabbing it and posting the Chad meme with just yes.
Yes. It's the most compelling thing I've ever heard a politician say in my life. Yes. Get revenge on the government. Sign me up.
Look at this. Donald Trump has told supporters not to just see him as a candidate, but as, quote, your retribution.
Yes!
Milo said this. Milo Yiannopoulos on the show said this. He said, in his comeback bid for the White House, the former president, twice impeached, but twice acquitted, now twice indicted, has vowed that if reelected, he will wield his power to personally remake parts of the federal government to a degree that historian Mark Updegrove said was unprecedented. Trump has promised to hamstring perceived enemies, including the DOJ, which is currently investigating him, and target Republican boogeyman like President Joe Biden. It sounds like they're saying Joe Biden's a Republican. He swore in June to appoint a special prosecutor to go after the Bidens. Okay, good. And that he would totally obliterate the deep state. I'm not hearing any insult or negativity. Referring to a conspiratorial view of how the government operates. This is the final battle. Either they win or we win, he said.
The libertarians just got out-libertarianed by the bump stock guy. What are you doing?
Well, come on. What do you got to say? You're libertarian.
Look. Yeah. I mean, I think it's an excellent speech. But what's his policy actually going to be? How is he really going to do it?
Just so we know that he's the middle finger.
But is he going to take out the IRS? Is he going to take out DOE? What is he actually going to do?
DeSantis said he was going to do that, didn't he? Something that effect?
He talked about Department of Education, yeah.
Oh, education.
Which is, I love it.
Yeah. If all Donald Trump at this point has is they have slighted me and I will fire them, I'll be like, okay, take my vote. Fire them all. Can libertarians disagree? Fire them all.
No, and I don't think that he would be entirely successful, but it would be a lot of fun to watch him try.
Yeah. I think he'd be successful at this point. I just want to stress, I don't think he did a perfect job in his first term. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I think he did some moderately good things in terms of foreign policy I really liked, and some culture war issues. He was very late in the game too. So he wasn't my first choice. A year ago I said DeSantis, because DeSantis has been on top of the game when it comes to culture war issues. But Donald Trump comes out and he's like, don't know, don't care, I want revenge, I'm going to fire everybody. And I'm like, I see fire in his eyes. That's all I can ask for.
Well, it's not necessarily about the American people. It's his revenge, but we all may benefit from his revenge.
That's right. You know what I mean? Like,
considering how selfish and narcissistic the guy is, I want him to make it personal, because that's way more of a motivator than me.
Right.
Like, I'm not motivated. Donald Trump doesn't give a crap about me.
If I'm standing on the sidewalk and there's a guy behind me and I see Trump barreling full speed, power walking, all angry, I'm getting out of the way. Right? I'm going to be like, whoa, don't let me stand in your way, sir. And that may mean you are not getting what you want, but the guy behind you turns out to be a mugger that was after you. And so I'm like, I'll take it.
If you're in a war zone and your enemy gets hit with friendly fire, thumbs up. Like, that's cool. Like, if they're going to smoke each other, take each other out, fine. If Donald Trump wants to go in there and actually make cuts, go. Get him.
Isn't it funny how terrified the corporate press is, though?
It's delicious.
Why are journalists so scared that someone would fire bureaucrats?
Access, because they're friendly with the bureaucrats now, and because they have their personal email addresses and their personal home phone numbers, and sometimes they get scoops. So it's all about access.
One of the hardest things I think would be, if he's talking about getting rid of the deep state, it's the unelected officials, right? You can fire all the heads of departments you want, but all of those heads of departments have trained people under them who think like they do, who they've groomed for those positions farther up. So it's not just getting rid of whoever you're talking about, whether you're talking about CIA, all of these departments, there's going to be somebody that's going to come in there, because it's not like this is one generation of a problem. This is multi-generational, and it will take more than one president if you're going to actually turn things around. At least in my opinion.
And I don't know for sure what the legality is of the government, of the federal, the president actually getting rid of cabinet level.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what does that mean? Getting rid of?
Abolishing.
Yeah.
Like, when I say get rid of, I mean abolish at the cabinet level. So the whole department, from the seat on the cabinet all the way down to the ground enforcers of whatever department we're talking about, whether it be HUD, whether it be the Department of Energy, which I don't know that we can do that because of the nuclear stuff, but still the Department of the Interior, DOT, IRS. Well, that's part of the Treasury, so that would be a little different. But there's plenty of stuff that he could get rid of as the executive and just be like, get out of here. In the Justice Department alone, he could do stuff with get rid of the stuff with the FBI by executive order. He can get rid of stuff with the ATF by executive order, because if I understand correctly, I could be wrong, but that's the way that I believe, because he is the executive he is the executive. He can get rid of stuff in the Department of Justice. So that would be a great place to start. FBI and ATF and stuff. But the more that he's looking to cut, whoever's looking to cut the most, that's who I'm behind. The second most cuts is the second person I'm behind. That, it's that simple. I don't give a crap about any of their personalities. Who's going to shrink the federal government the most? Because right now it's the biggest government in human history. So don't tell me we can't cut.
Trump should go to libertarian rallies and be like, I'm going to fire everybody.
He should have gone to Pork Fest.
And they're going to, seriously.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, I really don't want to vote for Bumpstock Donnie, but if he really is going to fire these people, and you can see the fire in his eyes and the want for revenge, I mean, you might actually get it.
Yeah.
That's the difficult libertarian position, I guess. Even Dave Smith was like, there's some foreign policy stuff he did that was good, and it's like, man.
But also, didn't they also question, why didn't you pardon Assange? Why didn't you pardon
that
Snowden?
Would have been had he done that.
I would have really liked to have seen that. It felt like a lot of that stuff, the pardons at the end, a lot of that stuff felt very performative. And there was more important, real change that he could have made through that stuff that would have been, even on the way out, would have been good for his re-election campaign.
Snowden and Assange, had he done that, he would have won the hearts of a lot of libertarians just because of that move.
We did have Don Jr. on. And he did say it's time we do pardon Assange and Snowden. And I'm not even as bullish on Snowden, to be completely honest. Snowden is like a middle of the road thing for me. Assange is no brainer. Assange shouldn't be charged at all.
Yep.
He's an international journalist who is wrongly charged with deep BS. They falsely accuse him of abusing women. Not true. Now they're accusing him of espionage. Literally a journalist. What does he do? He gets information. He publishes information. Snowden was a leaker. Snowden took information, gave it to journalists without knowing what it was. There's an argument to be made that it was so good what he did, exposing things like X-Keyscore and NSA spying, that it's high time we say, look, no more exile. Come on home, man. We are happy we got this information. But the thing about Snowden, it's the big issue is he did not know what he was giving out. He knew some of it, but he just took a bulk thing. I'm not all about encouraging that. I like whistleblowers. I think people should expose darkness and corruption. But we have security in this country for a reason. I like this country. I like the fact that we defend ourselves. You can't just leak everything. But that being said, even Don Jr. said, I think it's high time we do pardon him. That doesn't mean Trump Sr. would do it. But it does show that there is at least a sphere of influence in the Trump world that is starting to be like, let's roll with it. I do think the reason Trump wanted Assange brought to the U.S. was because Assange knows things pertaining to the Clintons, the establishment, neolibs, neocons. And Trump wanted that information, and Assange would not give it up because Assange has integrity, and he is a journalist, and he protects his sources. So I think that was a strong component for Trump. He knew, he's like, this guy's got information we need and won't give it up.
I also think that the intel agencies are a big part of why we need to pare back, right? Is you cannot do a lot of this unless we figure out a way to limit the influence of these intel agencies who are essentially responsible to no one, accountable to no one.
You're right, but the information that we're worried about the intel agencies collecting is the information that we're voluntarily giving to all the social media companies and Google and stuff. So I get it. You're right, and I don't know what the way or the best way to prevent the government from just subpoenaing it, because these companies are just throwing the information at the feds. As soon as the feds ask, they're just like, yeah, because again, access, because of favor with the most powerful government ever. So I don't know what the right way to fix it is, but they've already got the information. Your social media companies and stuff like that. They all have the information out there. So for the feds, it's just a matter of sending the subpoena.
We've given all of our stuff up.
But it also seems like the focus is increasingly more domestic, right? Like,
yeah.
We are not focusing overseas the way we used to. We're focusing a lot more on domestic terrorism with Patriot Front and other such federal organizations. Like it just feels like that's where a lot of those cuts would need to come. But it's going to be very hard to do that because they're so burrowed into our government.
Well, the whole Patriot Act itself, it's called the Patriot Act because it sounds awesome, but all it is
that too. I thought I said Patriot Front. Patriot Front, another group, domestic terrorists, and that's a big part of our focus here in this country now. Is they're using that as a weapon against regular Americans who are not idiots like Patriot Front.
That's the federal theater, kid.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.